The Famicom has 4 Fist of the North Star games, 3 of which stayed in Japan. In Japan, Fist of the North Star is called Hokuto no Ken. Games 2, 3, and 4 each have lengthy Japanese subtitles I won't attempt here, but what's important to note is the second one came to North America and is known here simply as Fist of the North Star, despite being the second one in the series. The first 2 games are both side-scrolling fist-em-ups, but 3 and 4 change it up completely and are both open-world JRPGs. Unfortunately, I was unable to track down a translation for either of those, so I was unable to play those 2 for longer than a minute for some footage. Today's video will focus on only the first 2 games. All of these games are based on the popular hyper-violent Japanese manga and anime from the 80s, again known as Hokuto no Ken in Japan, which directly translates to Fist of the Big Dipper. I think changing a Big Dipper to North Star for North America was a good decision too. It all takes place in a post-nuclear Mad Max-esque apocalyptic wasteland full of roaming bad guy bandits. Our protagonist, Kenshiro, or Ken, packs a real punch. Without going too far into it, Ken's magical punch makes the insides of the punchy really want to spill out. It's always awesome to watch in the anime, and Ken is known for the catchphrase, "You are already dead," as an enemy starts to realize he's about to explode into giblets. Giblets? Giblets? And Ken is already walking away at this point. On his journey, he's accompanied by his traveling companions Bat and Lin, young kids who bear witness to Ken's over-the-top yet super fun brand of destruction. I think that should tell you all you need to know for the sake of understanding these games, so let's see what's up.
北斗の拳がファミコンになった。画面いっぱいに飛び回るケンシロウ。北斗千手回転無双転生。君にも北斗神拳が使えるぞ。ラオ、お前が天を握ることはない。8月10日東映動画より新発売。
Yep, to start a game based on having the Fist of God, the first animation you see after pressing start has Ken's sprite delivering rapid Liu Kang kicks to no one in particular. It cracks me up though, let's see it again. And again. Okay. So as Ken, here in the wasteland, your goal is to navigate the level to find the end. To do this, you will need to find doors and enter them by pressing up? No. Down? No. Select or something? No. You press up and A and B at the same time to enter a door. If you enter the wrong door, you'll end up going in some loop until you try a different door, all the while fending off a never-ending onslaught of enemies. The enemies are pretty easy to kill. After all, you have a fist that will make them explode. The tricky part will be to dodge their flying weapons like boomerangs or guys that slide in from off-screen like Ricky Henderson stealing base from 20 yards too early. When enemies accept the death punch, their bodies will convulse before exploding all over the screen, and that's cool and all, but I gotta know what star Ken's foot is from. The South Star? Watch these kicks! Enemies fly off-screen like they weigh nothing. Where's my Foot of the Big Dipper spin-off? You can apparently power up Ken by collecting the red words that pop out of the red enemies when you kill them, but it's tougher to do than you think. You can increase your kicking speed, punching speed, walking speed, etc. depending on how many you get. Throughout, you're left to deal with the agonizing sound design of the game. When the guys you punch to explode begin to convulse, they make this awful grating noise that honestly makes kicking your way around so much more worth it. All that, despite the enemy's necks bending all the way back between their shoulder blades when they explode being cool as hell, it does get old after a while. All of the music in the game is basic, repetitive stuff that leaves a lot to be desired. You can get by just fine muting this game, to be honest. The worst part is the labyrinth of doors you have to make your way through to find the boss in each stage. You better take notes and write down which door you went in last time so you don't keep finding the same dead end. Walkthroughs will say you're only supposed to go through the doorways where you see Lynn, the little orphaned girl I mentioned earlier who travels with Ken, and I swear, despite my best efforts, I didn't always see her in the doors I was supposed to go in, so just be wary of that. If you are able to get to the boss, you're in for a time. They are all a little different. Some storm at you with a barrage of their own power punches that can whittle down your life in short order. Others jump around and can be so spry that cornering them to land a hit of your own proves to be the hardest part. Another neat thing about the bosses, if you can pull it off, is that each one has a finishing move that if you can do it, it will end the fight in nearly an instant. Like if you kick the first boss 10 times in the heart and then punch him in the stomach once, you got him. The story here is just a boiled down version of the show's premise. Nothing particular to the game. You can play 2-player, but you have to take turns. You'll have to survive 5 stages and 5 bosses in order to complete the game. You get 3 lives and no continues, so good luck. The second game, and again the only one we got in North America, features a larger sprite for Ken and more detailed environs and sprites altogether. Like the first game, wasteland enemies just waltz up to you, dying to be punched into an explosion of fragments, and sadly the kick no longer sends enemies straight to heaven. Ken can get some air though, and you'll find yourself Scrooge McDuckin' through the levels with little short hops to get around quicker. Here, Ken has to fight through 8 levels to rescue his quote-unquote people from the tyranny of the Emperor known as Heaven? I wonder if this Emperor knows how to kick. Anyway, that's it for motivation. Rescue people from the Emperor. Similar to the first, you just walk around and punch and kick guys. Punches are the only way you can earn power-ups, and kicks have pickier hit detection here than in the last game, so are less reliable. Thankfully, you won't need to navigate any maze of doors here, although doors do make an appearance, and let's see, do you press up? No. Down? No. So it's up and A and B at the same time? Again? Wait, no? It's right on the D-pad plus A and B? What? Why? How is the last game better at this? Well, there are some power-ups you'll want to grab to become more deadly, like a flag that refills the energy bar some, a necklace that gives you a shooting power, another that makes you transparent and invisible like a ghost, and collecting stars increases your overall strength. To use the shooting power, by the way, you have to press A and B at the same time. If you are armed with fireballs and want to enter a door, you might have a bad time. Up is jump, by the way, so it's a lot like a fighting game, which actually does make sense. And you can just hold in kick or punch instead of tapping the buttons, which makes for a fun time. There's a meter at the top that shows your enemy's energy, which I always appreciate, but it hardly matters except against bosses. The bosses can be challenging if you don't stay aggressive. Each one is a tad bit different, but it's never anything memorable, unless this purple version of Gene Simmons without his makeup works for you, or what about an orange grimace? Or this wildly determined LA Raiders fan. Hey, they were in LA when this came out. If you thought the music and sound design would be better in this one, you'd be terribly wrong. It's as shrill and painfully repetitive as the first, and frankly not worth your ears. All said, Fist of the North Star on the NES is better than Hokuto no Ken for the Famicom, but not by much. It has a little more polish, better power-ups, more stages, and it looks and plays better. I don't think I could recommend it to anyone who isn't just a huge fan of the source material, though, who wants that notch in the belt. If you just like beating games, this one is easy to master and can be beaten relatively quickly, like under 20 minutes if you know what you're doing. You get a forgiving life bar in this game and infinite continues. Each stage is short, so the setback for death is not terrible. There is a versus mode here, by the way, and it isn't what you think it is. It's just a practice mode for fighting enemies and not a multiplayer mode, unfortunately. Once again, the third and fourth games stayed in Japan and were JRPGs that I do not have translations for. I know that you play in a party as Ken, Bat, and Lin in the third one, and the fourth one takes place years later further down Ken's bloodline. The numbered entries do extend beyond the Famicom. If you want to keep going, there's Hokuto no Ken 5, 6, and 7 on the Super Famicom. If you wanted another North American game based on the series, you'd have to turn to the Sega for Black Belt on the Master System or Last Battle on the Genesis. The titles don't make it obvious that they're based on Fist of the North Star property, but they are. All in all, neither of the games from today are really all that special unless you really like Fist of the North Star. The second one, rather the one on the NES, is probably the best choice of the two, but it's more likely the two RPGs supersede them both in terms of fun and value. Hopefully one day we get a translation patch to find out, or if you're aware of one that I'm not, let me know. Alright, well that does it for Fist of the North Star games on the NES. You are already dead, and thanks for watching.